When you were 14, you accidentally saved several girls being hunted down. You never thought much of it. But 10 years later, you learned. Those girls were either daughters of elite tycoons or heiresses of powerful families. And apparently, they were all asking about you. Then you discovered the one heiress whose family you married into was one of them too. Slightly drunk, you returned to the villa's living room. You sat on the sofa and closed your eyes. But moments later, you seemed to remember something. You suddenly rose to your feet and sat down at the piano in the living room. It has been a long time since I posted a video. Tonight, while I have the chance, I will copy another song. With that, you took out your phone and started a live stream. Ignoring viewers flooding into the stream, you gently placed both hands on the keys and began to play. After half a year, Brother Yan is finally live streaming again. I am so happy. Before long, the song came to an end. In the livestream chat, comments from men and women flooded in again. Every kind of speculation swept through the chat. Did our handsome streamer get his heart broken? I feel so bad for him. You can hear it in Brother Yan's lyrics. He must have been cheated on. Otherwise, how could he sing with that kind of pain? The song ended, but its echoes lingered. Your hands slowly left the keys, as though you were still lost in the world of music. But when you came back to yourself, an instinctive motion made you quickly pull up your shirt to hide your face. Just as you were about to end the stream, your phone suddenly displayed its shutdown screen without warning. You watched the screen slowly dim and shook your head helplessly. You lowered the shirt covering your face. You let out a huge yawn, your eyes hazy with sleep. You murmured softly, "Forget it. I will charge it tomorrow. I will shower and go to bed first." After that, it was as if every ounce of your strength had left you. You slowly turned around and dragged your heavy feet toward the bedroom. Meanwhile, in Modi's elite villa district, inside a luxurious estate in Yuning Tiangong, Wen Shuyao lay in bed, watching your livestream with sheer excitement. Her eyes were glued to the screen, afraid to miss a single wonderful moment. When your livestream ended, Wen Shuyao could barely contain her excitement. She quickly closed the ended stream, opened her call history, and dialed a number without hesitation. Inside an elegantly decorated presidential suite in Diju, Wen Shuran wore a purple robe. As she sat elegantly on a soft sofa, she held a glass of red wine and gently swirled it. The crimson liquid rippled in the glass, releasing an intoxicating aroma. A graceful, beautiful woman sat opposite Wen Shuran. She was as beautiful as the full moon in the night sky, radiating a mesmerizing glow. Wen Shuran smiled and raised her glass, gesturing lightly toward the woman. "Ninging, it has been far too long. Cheers." Ruan Xinging chuckled and clinked glasses with her. "It has only been a year. That is not very long." "A year is long enough. Have you not heard that one day apart feels like years?" Ruan Xinging smiled and shook her head. "If you miss me, come visit me in Diju. It is only a flight away." When Shuran replied helplessly, "I want to, but these past 2 years, I have been taking over the group's affairs, and I simply cannot make time. Uncle Wen is already handing the group over to you. Is that not too soon?" Ruan Xinging asked in surprise. How could the burden of the Wen group be handed over to Wen Shuran so soon? "Do not mention it. My father has become obsessed with fishing lately. If he can make me handle company matters, he will not lift a finger himself. My younger siblings are still in school, so this responsibility falls to me." When Shuran gave a bitter smile, Ruan Xinging suddenly understood and teased. "So that is it. Uncle Wen is enjoying retirement early, but you are so capable. You will have no trouble running the group." When Shuran modestly waved a hand, "I still have much to learn." "Oh, I have good news. I am married." Ruan Xinging's eyes widened in surprise. "To whom? Did you find that man?" A sweet smile appeared on Wen Shuran's face. Then she nodded firmly. Just as Wen Shuran was about to say more, an urgent phone ringtone suddenly rang out. She glanced at the caller ID. Wen Shuran frowned slightly and answered with a puzzled look. "What is it? Shuyao, why are you still up so late?" Before Wen Shuran could finish, Wen Shuyao's wildly excited voice rang from the other end. "Sis, you cheated." Wen Shuran froze. Before she could respond, Wen Shuyao raised her excited voice even higher. "Why are you not saying anything? You really cheated. Haha. This is wonderful." As Wen Shuyao finished speaking, Wen Shuran finally came to her senses. In an instant, her once sweet expression turned completely dark. She snarled through gritted teeth. "Wen Shuyao, you are begging for a beating, are you? How dare you spread sexual rumors about me? Has it been so long since I disciplined you?" Hearing Wen Shuran's rebuke, Wen Shuyao was not scared at all. She said excitedly, "Sis, stop pretending. Brother-in-law already knows you cheated. It is spreading all over the internet. And there is more." Before Wen Shuyao could finish, Wen Shuran's face had already turned pale. Her brows drew tightly together. After hanging up, she hurriedly opened social media on her phone. Several trending topics marked in red were already at the top of the list. Breaking. After half a year, famous original artist releases a new song at midnight. Breaking. Renowned music creator reveals his face for the first time. Breaking. influencer with 10 million followers may have been cheated on. Seeing those suddenly trending topics, Wen Shuran's frown deepened. She casually opened one of them. A heap of wildly exaggerated promotional copy and a video immediately appeared before her eyes. The video's cover showed an exceptionally handsome profile, and at the end of the post, just as expected, gleaming golden letters appeared, and card. At the sight of that all-too-familiar profile, Wen Shuran tapped it with trembling fingers. At once, your deep, singing, and lonely figure filled the screen, listening to your broken, aching voice, and the betrayal woven through the lyrics. 2 minutes later, Wen Shuran's beautiful face was white as paper. But before she could finish the video, Wen Shuyao called again. Why did you hang up on me? Before Wen Shuran could answer, Wen Shuyao's voice grew excited again. Where did you put the key to Brother Yan's suburban villa? Hearing Wen Shuyao's question, Wen Shuran took a deep breath and pulled herself together. She said sternly, listen to me, Wen Shuyao. I damn well did not cheat, and I have never done anything to betray your brother-in-law. In response to Wen Shuran's warning, Wen Shuyao was completely unconcerned. She replied, sis, stop being stubborn. Brother Yan once said, he writes songs mainly from inspiration and experience. You have seen that video, right? I do not believe you cannot understand those lyrics. At that, Wen Shuyao raised her voice. HMPH, you have hurt Brother Yan so badly he is practically in pieces. He got drunk and was soaked in the rain. Now his phone is off. Give me the key. Now, I am going to comfort my beloved Yan God. At this, Wen Shuran's pale face instantly turned bright red. It was the flush of sheer fury. She was trembling with rage. Through gritted teeth, she snarled at Wen Shuyao over the phone and roared, Wen Shuyao, just wait until I get back. I will break your legs. Wen Shuyao seemed frightened by Wen Shuran's furious roar. Remembering her sister's lifelong reign of terror, her voice suddenly lost its strength. She said plaintively, sis, you did this yourself. You cannot blame me. It is not like I made you cheat. Besides, you know your husband's personality. You cheated on him. How could he still want you? As she spoke, Wen Shuyao seemed to think of something. She seemed to forget her fear of her sister. Excited again, she urged, hurry. Give me the key, rather than let another woman have him after your divorce. You might as well let me have him. Keep it in the family, right? At least you could still see him as his elder sister-in-law. By then, Wen Shuran seemed to have finally calmed down. She sneered. Since you know your brother-in-law so well, then you should know this. If I had truly betrayed him, and he found out, given his personality, do you think he would stay silent like this, and suffer alone? Wen Shuran's question instantly silenced Wen Shuyao. After a long moment, Wen Shuyao timidly replied, maybe, perhaps, I guess. Before she could finish, Wen Shuran cut her off. No maybes. Perhaps, given his personality, if I had actually cheated on him, he would have come after me long ago, to settle the score. Besides, I have been with your sister Ningyin all day. She is still right beside me. When exactly could I have cheated on your brother-in-law? Then, Wen Shuran's icy voice dripped with heavy sarcasm, as she mocked, have you been watching too many idiotic dramas and reading too many trashy novels? Do you take your brother-in-law for some spineless male lead from a short drama? Her tone grew sharper. You should know that at 14, your brother-in-law dared take on for desperate robbers alone. Would he quietly accept being cheated on? Then what about him getting drunk, caught in the rain, and shutting off his phone? And how do you explain that song? HMPH, something is definitely wrong. Hearing her sister's deeply uncertain voice, Wen Shuran sneered again. How should I know what happened? Most likely, he drank too much while out, watched some juicy gossip unfold, and did not bring an umbrella. That is probably it. It is not the first time. Wen Shuran continued impatiently. Enough. I cannot be bothered arguing with you. After hanging up, Wen Shuran's earlier confidence vanished. She hurriedly dialed your number. Beep, beep. She tried several times, but none of the calls went through. Wen Shuran began to panic. Huan Xingci, who had been silent until then, saw Wen Shuran's anxious state and could not help chuckling. Ryan, what is wrong? When you were talking to Shuyao just now, you sounded so certain. Why are you nervous now? Faced with her best friend's teasing, Wen Shuran clearly had no mood to banter. She urgently said, Ningyin, quick. Get your family's private jet ready. I need to return to Modu right now. Seeing her friend so anxious, Huan Xingci's face filled with astonishment. Wait, you are serious? Did you not just explain it all so convincingly? Besides, what Shuyao said is completely baseless. You did not actually cheat. Wen Shuran waved her hand. Do not worry about that right now. Just get the plane ready. I will explain later. With that, Wen Shuran quickly picked up Huan Xingci's phone from the table and handed it to her. Seeing her friend's urgent expression, Huan Xingci shook her head helplessly. She picked up the phone and gave the order. There, I have arranged it. Just wait calmly. Then a mischievous smile crossed Huan Xingci's face. She teased, Ryan, you look awfully unsettled. Could Shuyao have been telling the truth? Before she finished, Wen Shuran hurriedly waved her hand again. She cut in. How could that be? Huan is the man I have loved for 10 years. How could I ever betray him? Her eyes then filled with deep worry. Do you remember the dinner party you arranged for me yesterday? Wen Shuyao nodded, confused. Wen Shuran took a deep breath. She continued, when I arrived at the hotel yesterday, I happened to run into President Zhang from Zhang Group downstairs. I am worried. Someone took misleading photos of us, though. Given Huan's personality, if he had really seen anything troubling, he should have contacted me already. But I still cannot stop worrying. And Huan's lonely figure in that video really breaks my heart. After hearing Wen Shuran's explanation, Wen Shuyao could not help chuckling. The way you are now, you do not seem like the Miss Wen I know. You look more like a sweet little wife whose husband has her wrapped around his finger. Wen Shuran's cheeks reddened. She gave her a playful glare. Seeing her shy expression, Wen Shuyao laughed even harder. What family background does your husband have? Even Miss Wen cannot keep him under control. Wen Shuran rolled her eyes. She swatted away Shinging's hand, pinching her cheek. He says he is an orphan. He was raised by adoptive parents. As for who his adoptive parents are, he never said. Nor has he taken me to meet them. After a pause, Wen Shuran continued, as for controlling him, I have never even dared consider it. Hearing this, Wen Shuyao looked astonished and curious. You do not even dare think about it. Is that not a little extreme? From what you have said, he is only a little braver than most, and perhaps somewhat skilled in a fight. Those qualities are hardly remarkable these days. After all, no matter how brave he is, or how good he is in a fight, without money or influence, he is still just some small-time lowlife. When Shuran glared at her, she snapped. He is my husband, not some nobody. Seeing that her friend was upset, Wen Shuyao quickly raised both hands. She smiled sheepishly. All right. I will not say another word. I was only curious. When Shuran rolled her eyes at her again, she continued. How should I describe my husband? He is rather detached from worldly desires. He does not seem to care much about wealth or power. When Shuran paused, then she continued, we have been legally married for nearly a year, but he has never asked me to buy him anything. Even the sports car I gave him on the day we married, he has barely driven. If I had to say, during this time, his spending on our household has actually been a little more than mine. Hearing Wen Shuran's explanation, Wen Shuyao was surprised again. She asked in disbelief. Seriously? Did you not tell him about the Wen family's status? How could I not? With how unflappable he is, how could he possibly agree to register our marriage without knowing my family background? When Shuran replied calmly, you have no idea. After I first took him home, when we were preparing to marry, he specifically looked into my parents' past and character, as if he feared our whole family was trying to con him. He even said bad traits can be inherited if my parents had not been decent people, and if when we first slept together, I had not been a virgin, with a clean private life, he probably would not have agreed to marry me. The more Wen Shuyao heard, the more fascinated she became. Her eyes lit up. No way. This man has that much nerve. You are the daughter of one of Modu's most elite families. He is only a live-in son-in-law. Yet he still made all those demands? When Shuran shook her head, she said softly, he is not crazy. That is simply his nature. In his own words, he is a remnant of the old era, a relic of feudal society. He says his wife must be a virgin. Of course, if there is no marriage certificate, then he does not care. And he did not marry into my family. One married him. As for whether I cannot live without him, I get the feeling he would not care whether I was irreplaceable to him. At that point, when Shuran gave a bitter smile and shook her head again, she continued helplessly. You heard my call with Shuyao just now. You heard it too. Honestly, he does not lack beautiful women from good families who are after him. And it is not just Shuyao. As far as I know, there is another woman out there whose family background and looks are a match for mine, waiting for him. You could say, those two bitches are waiting for me to make a mistake, so they can seize the chance to cause trouble. When Shuran sighed helplessly, then she met Wen Shuyao's gaze. She asked, you tell me, with a husband like mine, who can earn his own money, who has no great desire for wealth or power, who is funny and handsome, and has several women out there trying to get their hands on him. Would I be stupid enough to try controlling him? Do I want to drive him away faster? After hearing Wen Shuran, Wen Shuyao became even more curious. Do you have a photo of him? I want to see what this perfect man of yours actually looks like. At Wen Shuyao's words, Wen Shuran instinctively became wary. Guardedly, she replied, fine, I can show you, but I am warning you, do not get any ideas about him. Besides my own sister, I do not need my best friend as another rival in love. Relax. Do not worry. I am not that kind of person. Wen Shuyao promised with a smile. Only then did Wen Shuran take out her phone. Still unconvinced, she expertly opened her photo album. In an instant, photos of a strikingly handsome man, with eyes bright as stars, filled the screen. When Shuran looked at Wen Shuyao proudly, she chuckled. Well, my husband is handsome, right? Wen Shuyao froze for a moment, looking at the man in the photos. For some reason, she felt an inexplicable sense of familiarity, as if she had seen him before. When she came back to herself, she hurriedly nodded. He really is handsome. When Shuran chuckled again, naturally, How could Miss Wen's taste be bad? Let me tell you, my husband is not only handsome, he also has an amazing body. He has an 8-pack. As he puts it, he is a real-life, top-tier heartthrob, the best-looking man in the whole village. Wen Shuyao stared at the photos, entranced. Hey. That is enough. I said you are not allowed to covet my husband. Hearing Wen Shuran mutter, Wen Shuyao finally snapped out of her daze. Her phone rang. She glanced at the caller ID. Wen Shuyao said sweetly, all right. The plane is ready at the rooftop helipad. Aren't you in a rush to explain things to your precious husband? Why aren't you hurrying over? Wen Shuran hurriedly nodded. Then she rushed away. After the plane took off, Wen Shuyao looked up toward its departing path. She murmured softly, Huan, the Shen family's adopted son from 10 years ago. Interesting. Could it be him? At that moment, after Wen Shuran landed at a nearby helipad, she hurried to the Zhonghai residential complex, where you lived. At the villa entrance, a pink luxury sports car was parked quietly by the driveway. Seeing the familiar car, Wen Shuran walked to the driver's side, surprise in her eyes. Through the window, she saw her sister, Wen Shuyao, resting with her eyes half closed. Knock. Seeing this, Wen Shuran irritably knocked on the car door. Brother-in-law, Wen Shuyao slowly opened her bleary eyes. Since she was downstairs from your place, she instinctively assumed you had spotted her. She thought you had come down out of concern to ask her upstairs to rest. But after she called out groggily and opened her eyes to see Wen Shuran, she instantly woke up. Her face was filled with surprise. She quickly opened the door and got out. Sis, were you not still in the capital? Why are you back so early? Wen Shuran folded her arms. She said irritably, you have the nerve to ask? Spreading sexual rumors about me last night was bad enough. Now you want to steal my man while I am away. Looks like you have been asking for a beating lately. Right. With that, Wen Shuran instinctively rolled up her sleeves. She looked ready to teach her little sister a lesson. Seeing this, Wen Shuyao reacted as if by reflex, quickly backing away several steps. Her movements were swift and practiced, as though dodging Wen Shuran like this had been deeply etched into her mind as an instinctive reaction. But after a moment, perhaps realizing it made her seem less impressive, she forcibly suppressed her body's instinctive response. Her face turned fiercely defiant. HMPH. It is true. You were the one who fought dirty first. If you had not tricked him and blindsided Brother Yan, he would have been mine. You should be calling him your brother-in-law. Hearing her sister's smooth string of comebacks, Wen Shuran gave her a disdainful look. She mocked. You? You little girl, with a body flat as an airfield. You still dare talk so big? A moment later, she lowered her neckline slightly, then proudly thrust out her chest. Her creamy white cleavage was impossible to miss. Even I envy this figure of mine. Front and back. What does a little girl like you have that can compare to me? You HMPH. So what? I will still grow. Besides, Brother Yan told me, smaller has its own advantages. Small is cute too. But faced with Wen Shuyao's unconvincing retort, Wen Shuran scoffed. He also said, a woman who cannot see her toes when she looks down is the most exquisite beauty in the world. Wen Shuran said unhurriedly, all right, I cannot be bothered to argue with you. Have you not been waiting here all along? Come on. Your sister will take you inside. With that, Wen Shuran smugly jingled the villa keys in her hand. Then she turned and walked inside. As they entered the hall, the first thing they saw was the clothes you had tossed aside last night. Your underwear still looked damp, as if silently telling the tale of last night's torrential downpour. At the master bedroom door, Wen Shuran stopped. She drew a deep breath and cautiously pushed the bedroom door. But just as she expected, the door was tightly shut. You had clearly locked it from inside. As for that, Wen Shuran was not surprised at all. She knew perfectly well that you liked locking your door whenever you rested. This was hardly the first time she had encountered it. Knock. The sound echoed down the silent hall, jarringly out of place. After knocking for nearly 3 minutes, Wen Shuyao was beginning to panic. Her eyes instantly reddened. Her voice trembled slightly as she whispered, sis, what I said last night. You did not really do something to betray brother-in-law and let him find out, did you? Shut up. How many times must I tell you? I have never done anything to betray your brother-in-law. Never. The sudden scolding startled Wen Shuyao into shuddering all over. But just as Wen Shuran raised her hand to knock again, your deeply irritated roar suddenly came from inside. Who the hell is it? Are you insane? Why are you pounding on my door at dawn? Hearing your sudden shout, both women jumped in fright. When you opened the door bare-chested, wearing nothing but floral-patterned boxer shorts, your eyes half closed, still bleary with sleep, you had no idea what was about to happen. Before your eyes could adjust to the outside light or make out what was before you, a figure suddenly flashed forward like lightning and charged straight into your arms. In that instant, instincts honed over many years made you reflexively assume a defensive stance. But when you caught that figure's familiar scent, your rational mind instantly reined in your body's reflexes. At once, the force of the impact sent you falling backward. The two of you crashed heavily onto the soft bed. Feeling the soft, delicate body pressed atop you, and breathing in that utterly familiar scent. You gently rubbed your eyes, just as you opened them, ready to get a good look at the figure pinning you down, when Shuyao's delighted voice suddenly rang out. Brother Yan, you are okay. Thank goodness. Her words left you completely confused. You frowned slightly, just as you were about to ask what she meant, when Shuyao spoke again. Brother Yan, my sister really cheated on you. But even if she did, you do not need to be sad, Brother Yan. You still have me. At that, when Shuyao's voice suddenly softened, in a slightly coquettish tone, she continued, I will always be the one who cares for you. Brother Yan, that string of words left you utterly dumbfounded. Your eyes widened. Your mind instantly replayed the two shocking scenes from last night. Instinctively, you pushed Wen Shuyao off you. Your voice rose without you meaning it to. What did you say? But before you heard any reply, your mind began playing like a movie, flashing between last night's two explosive dramas. And when Shuyao's words just now, my sister cheated on you, I jolted upright from my deathbed in shock, only to find I was the clown all along. The moment those words left your mouth, you flew into a rage. You clenched your fist and slammed it against the bed. You roared to yourself, you old bastard, you have gone too far. You bitch. How dare you betray me? Picking up where we left off, when Shuran stood outside the door, she finally snapped out of one absurd misunderstanding after another. Husband, I did not. Do not listen to Shuyao's nonsense. Did you see some strange photos? Please, let me explain first. During this business trip, I was always with my best friend in the capital. Security footage can verify everywhere I went. Believe me, I truly have not done anything you would dislike. With that, when Shuran nervously looked up, watching your expression, she seemed terrified that you would misunderstand her. Seeing the cautious look on Wen Shuran's face in your arms, your deeply furrowed brow tightened even further. You drew a deep breath. You slowly calmed yourself. Fine. Go ahead. Explain. I'm listening. Seeing that you had finally calmed down, despite the coolness in your voice, when Shuran still breathed a huge sigh of relief, she hurriedly explained her trip to the capital. She especially explained her encounter with President Chu of the Huan group, whom she met outside the hotel, and the circumstances of their attending a dinner together. She also feared that encounter had been photographed and sent to you by someone with an agenda, hoping to drive a wedge between you and your wife. But her explanation only confused you again. In an instant, your furrowed brow relaxed. Your dark expression turned to puzzlement. What do you mean? Business dinners are normal when you are away for work. And as for photos, I have not seen any. After hearing that, when Shuran looked at your utterly puzzled face, you did not seem to be pretending. Confusion instantly appeared on her face. She asked sweetly, Husband, if you knew nothing, saw nothing, and never misunderstood anything, why were you saying I cheated? Hearing Wen Shuran's soft accusation, you froze again. Come on. Seriously, from beginning to end, you two sisters were steering this whole mess. All right. At that moment, when Shuyao slowly sat up in bed, her pretty face held an innocence edged with pure stupidity, she said, Brother-in-law, were you not the one who said my sister cheated? Your eyes went wide. Dazed, you pointed a finger at yourself. You said nothing. When Shuyao nodded, she continued, Last night, you were drunk and soaked by the rain. Then there was that new song. You looked completely devastated. And have you not said before that your songwriting depends heavily on personal experiences? What those lyrics meant was obviously that my sister had cheated on you. Was it not? As Wen Shuyao finished speaking, Wen Shuran beside her instantly gave you a baffled look as well. You rolled your eyes at them. Then you calmly explained what had happened last night. I witnessed a juicy scandals last night. I just felt inspired to write a song. You two are seriously overreacting. What was there to be confused about? You could have just called me. Besides, you know what I am like. Do you think I am the type to suffer in silence, bottling everything up and swallowing the hurt? You really think too little of me. It is all Shuyao's fault. That little brat never thinks before she acts. I was having a perfectly nice chat with Meng Yao last night. Then her call had me scared out of my wits. It made me take the Ruan family's private jet back overnight. I am exhausted. Having finally relaxed, Wen Shuran immediately yawned. She looked drowsy and sleepy. When Shuyao began to feel wrong too, pouting her pretty lips, she said timidly, You cannot blame me entirely. Brother-in-law, your phone was off last night. I could not get through at all. And with all the strange things you did, I was just too happy. No, I mean, I was just too worried about you. Hearing her sister's unconscious slip of the truth, when Shuran shot her another vicious glare, her sister's unusual feelings for her husband were so obvious. She was not even trying to hide them. You gave a soft laugh. You ignored Wen Shuyao's verbal slip. My phone died last night. I had some drinks too, and could not be bothered to charge it, so I just went to sleep. Since it was all a misunderstanding, you just should wash up and get some sleep. It is only 6 or 7 in the morning. Sleep until noon. That should be perfect. All right. When Shuyao nodded reluctantly, then she turned and left your room. Half an hour later, when Shuran was dressed in a sexy, seductive purple battle dress, she slowly emerged from the bathroom. Seeing this, you gazed at Wen Shuran's soft, snow-white body. You could not help murmuring. They say purple has a special charm, a top-tier powerhouse. Truly terrifying. When you opened your eyes again, Wen Shuran, who had been sleeping in your arms, had already gotten up to wash. You picked up the cigarettes on the nightstand. After taking one out, you lit it with practiced ease. Just then, Wen Shuran finished washing up, dressed in a black business dress. She pushed open the bathroom door. Seeing you reclined against the headboard, smoking, Wen Shuran smiled softly and called, "Husband, you're awake." You smiled and nodded. You asked quietly, "Why did you sleep so little? Do you have anything to do this afternoon?" Wen Shuran shook her head. She replied, "Nothing this afternoon, but I may need to attend to dinner tonight." You nodded calmly. You did not ask further. You knew that, as the chief executive officer of her group, Wen Shuran occasionally needed to attend events like these. "All right, honey. You have been working hard." Wen Shuran smiled softly. She walked lightly over and sat before you. "Husband, let us return to the city together later. The surroundings here are lovely, and it is very comfortable, but it is too far from the office. So, commuting is inconvenient." You chuckled and nodded. You ruffled her silky hair. "Sure, I only came here because you were away on business. I wanted a few days to relax and clear my head. Now that you are back, I do not care where we live." At that, Wen Shuran happily gave you a gentle kiss on the face. A sweet smile bloomed across her face. A moment later, you got up and went to the bathroom to wash. While you stood there with your mouth full of toothpaste foam, Wen Shuran seemed to remember something. She suddenly said, "Oh, right? Husband, the event I am attending tonight is not business related. It is a welcome home dinner for a friend in my circle. Would you like to come along?" As she said this, Wen Shuran looked somewhat cautious. She knew you had never liked attending these boring banquets and parties. You turned, toothbrush in hand, and asked through the foam, "Is there anything special about it?" Wen Shuran instantly understood what you meant. Without hesitation, she replied, "There is nothing particularly special. The only thing is, the guest of honor is a childhood playmate I was quite close to. Oh, he is Uncle Cheng's son from the Cheng family next to our old house, Cheng Jingheng. You get along well with Uncle Cheng too, do you not?" Before Wen Shuran could finish, the moment you heard the name Cheng Jingheng, you froze. When you came back to your senses, you were so shocked that your toothbrush fell to the floor. What did you say? Seeing your shocked expression, Wen Shuran instantly recalled when you met again, and how you had reacted upon hearing her name. When you heard that her name was Wen Shuran, you had looked at her with that same mix of surprise and curiosity. Even when you discussed registering your marriage with her a year ago, you could sense your own inexplicable wariness toward her, or rather, toward her name. Had you not investigated thoroughly and learned that she was truly innocent with a private life that passed your scrutiny, otherwise, you two might never have ended up together. After steadying your emotions, you buried every thought racing through your mind. You nodded calmly. "The guest of honor really is Cheng Jingheng," she said. "He really is my childhood friend. Uncle Cheng sent him abroad to study 5 years ago. He only returned today." Wen Shuran had calmly confirmed it. There was not the slightest unease in her voice. Your face instantly took on an exceedingly strange expression. When you first met Wen Shuran 2 years ago, you had been utterly astonished. You had thought, who would dare use that name these days? Yet a year later, Wen Shuran seemed to finally confirm your identity. She learned that you were the boy who, all those years ago, had saved her and the others. From then on, Wen Shuran often arranged seemingly chance encounters. Any problem you faced at university, big or small, Wen Shuran would promptly resolve for you. After some time passed like this, an unexpected twist of fate between the two of you somehow led to an intimate relationship between you. And from that moment on, Wen Shuran officially became your girlfriend. More than half a year ago, for reasons unknown, Wen Shuran suddenly suggested that you register your marriage because of memories from your past life and your dread of the name Wen Shuran. You made up countless excuses, refusing to register the marriage no matter what. At that time, Wen Shuran wept before you, tears streaming down her face. She seemed to understand a man's heart well. She only cried. She did not make a scene at all. Watching her grow more haggard with each passing day, your heart eventually softened. You used a few methods to secretly investigate Wen Shuran's entire past from beginning to end. Once you learned that, despite bearing the title of the Ryan Emperor, she truly was a woman of spotless virtue, you finally breathed a sigh of relief and registered your marriage with her. Yet although between you two, in every respect, you lived like a normal married couple, you still felt an inexplicable weariness because of memories from your past life. Because the Ryan Emperor's countless avatars were reflected across the heavens, you could hardly believe that this emperor you met could be an innocent girl among so many notorious heartbreakers. You were afraid, or rather, every male creature fears being cheated on. So, throughout your relationship with Wen Shuran, you instinctively kept an escape route open. You did not want to tie yourself to her completely. Yet although you thought that way and acted accordingly, after spending all this time together, you had still developed some feelings for her. Now, this man who had suddenly returned from abroad bore the name of countless male leads from your past life, who had been paired with the Ryan Emperor, Cheng Jingheng, had appeared. Your feelings became impossibly complicated. Maybe I should find an opportunity, make an excuse, and get divorced first. This guy was the heaven-propping emperor himself, bearing the title of a tragic romance male lead. Even if they cannot torment me, what if they have something going on in private? I cannot keep watch over Wen Shuran every second. As these thoughts ran through your mind, in reality, you instinctively picked up a cigarette and lit it. I will wait a while. They have not even started seeing each other yet. I cannot find a suitable excuse for now. If they show any signs of flirting later, I will divorce her immediately. As long as there is no marriage certificate, at most, she is only my girlfriend. As long as there is no marriage certificate, no one could ever make a cuckold of me. That settles it. Seeing your slightly furrowed brow and your shifting expression, Wen Shuran raised her delicate hand and waved it before you. Husband, what are you thinking about? Are you close with Cheng Jingheng? Do you have a history? Seeing the strange look in your eyes and hearing your low voice, how could Wen Shuran fail to notice the probing in your words? She hurriedly waved her hands. She explained, No. How could he and I possibly have a history? Besides, before we got married, did you not specifically investigate my past? You have been my only man from beginning to end. As for Cheng Jingheng, we were only childhood playmates. At most, we were fairly good friends. With that said, Wen Shuran nervously took your arm and gently rubbed her head against your shoulder. She cooed, honey, do not overthink this. Oh, I am not overthinking. I was just asking. After a pause, you continued, but I need to go back to campus this afternoon. Just send me the location for tonight's banquet, and I will go there myself. That was right. You were still a fourth-year student, studying at Zhonghai University. Since fourth-year students were on internship placements, and because of certain matters involving the Wen family, you did not need to return to campus very often. At that moment, hearing that you had agreed to attend the banquet with her, Wen Shuran instantly broke into a happy smile. As for your final remark about going back to school first, Wen Shuran automatically ignored it. Delighted, she kissed you again. She excitedly said, this is wonderful. Honey, you are finally willing to attend a banquet with me. I am so happy. Seeing Wen Shuran's thrilled expression, you helplessly shook your head. You chuckled. Is that not a little dramatic? It is only one banquet. Do you have to be this happy? Wen Shuran pouted. She looked at you with resentment in her eyes and said aggrievedly, someone has the nerve to say that. From dating until marriage, I do not even know how many times I invited you. Certain people just play dumb and refuse to agree no matter what. You left me without a chance to introduce you to my friends in our circle. Listening to Wen Shuran's thinly veiled and roundabout accusations, you shook your head with a wry smile. You pulled her into your arms and comforted her. All right, do not be angry. You know, I hate those tedious social banquets most of all. Yet despite your explanation, Wen Shuran still felt upset. She turned away, puffing out her rosy lips. HMPH. What a convenient excuse. Seeing this woman who was icy and aloof in public, the stunningly cold chief executive officer, in your presence, she acted sweet and sulked like a little girl before you. You helplessly shook your head again. Just then, when Shuran's phone suddenly rang, she glanced at it, stood up, and smiled. Let us go, honey. The driver is already downstairs. You nodded, then rose with her and left the room. Downstairs, Wen Shuyao was already waiting in the living room. When she saw you come out, she yawned and slowly rose from the sofa. Sis, why did my brother-in-law hit you again? Every time, he hits you for 2 or 3 hours. Can you really take that much of a beating? Without waiting for Wen Shuran to respond, she immediately turned to you, her voice pleading. She said, brother-in-law, our family can afford proper care. If you truly have psychological problems, we should get you to a doctor as soon as possible. At this point, she let out a heavy sigh and continued. Domestic violence is wrong. Violence is against the law. You cannot just see that my sister can take it and keep hitting her so brutally. If this continues, my sister will eventually be unable to endure it. Listening to her earnest lecture, your forehead instantly creased with exasperation. When Shuran's lovely face also immediately flushed crimson with embarrassment. She fiercely glared at Wen Shuyao. She stammered, do not talk nonsense. Your brother-in-law did not hit me. Yet in response to her explanation, Wen Shuyao sighed again, without hesitation. Sis, stop trying to fool me. Your screams are like a pig being slaughtered. The whole house can hear them. If there is a problem, we need to address it early. It is not as if our family cannot afford it. 2 or 3 hours. Even someone made of iron could not endure that. By now, your face was as dark as charcoal. You clenched your fists, wanting nothing more than to tape this little sister-in-law's mouth shut. Beside you, Wen Shuran's face had turned as red as an apple. She opened her mouth, ready to continue explaining. Yet just as the explanation was about to leave her lips, she seemed to suddenly think of something. At that moment, her lovely face still burning red, she appeared to have an epiphany, and nodded at Wen Shuyao. Yes, exactly. Your brother-in-law is an abuser. As for seeing a doctor, I actually took him to one long ago. The doctor said he was born with a condition that makes him prone to violent outbursts. It can only be eased, not cured. So, for your physical and mental well-being, without my permission from now on, you had better not spend too much time around your brother-in-law. Otherwise, his condition might suddenly flare up one day, and he might beat you too. After saying this, Wen Shuran secretly rejoiced. Her younger sister had long been setting her sights on you, and Wen Shuran had been furious about it for a long time. But after all, Wen Shuyao was her own younger sister. She could not really hit her, and scolding her did not work. Now that her sister had misunderstood, she might as well make that misunderstanding seem real, and spare herself the headache. After hearing Wen Shuran, Wen Shuyao looked you over, her gaze unreadable. A moment later, she sighed deeply again, as if resigned to her fate. Fine. If this condition cannot be cured, then I can only accept my fate. Who told me to like Brother Yan so much? The price may be steep, but since my sister can endure it, as her biological sister, I should be able to take a beating too, right? Brother Yan, when you beat me in the future, could you try to control your strength? 2 or 3 hours would really hurt. Wen Shuyao, Huan is your brother-in-law. He is your brother-in-law. Do you understand? Can you please come to your senses? There are so many men out there. Why must you fixate on the man right under your own roof? Seeing her sister's furious expression, Wen Shuyao instantly stepped back. Then she instinctively ducked her head and weakly argued, when Brother Yan saved us back then, did we not all agree that we could like Brother Yan together? Do not worry, sis. Worst case, I can be your second wife. As she said that, her voice dropped even lower. After all, I'm already the little one. Besides, don't people online say half of the younger sister-in-laws but belongs to her brother-in-law, right? I'm only following tradition. By then, your dark expression had turned to helpless resignation. However, when Shuran beside you had finally reached her limit, her eyes blazed with fury. She instinctively rolled up her sleeves, looking ready to strike. Seeing this, you quickly grabbed her arm. You soothed her. All right. Shuyao is just joking. She's only an 18-year-old girl. What does she know? Come on, the driver has been waiting a long time. You gave Wen Shuyao a look, telling her to leave first. Seeing your signal, and her sister's furious face, Wen Shuyao instantly understood. She made a face at Wen Shuran, and quickly ran out. After Wen Shuyao left, Wen Shuran was still fuming. Her snow-white breast rose and fell rapidly, a dazzling sight that left you dazed. A beautiful woman, even when angry, has her own special charm. Great Emperor Ryan, the apex predator among mature beauties. Perfect. Just then, when Shuran turned to you, looking aggrieved, she complained, honey, look at her. Does she have any modesty at all? What sister-in-law thinks about her brother-in-law every day? She is driving me crazy. You pulled her into your arms and laughed softly. All right, Shuyao is just a young girl. At most, she is attached to me because of what happened back then. She only feels gratitude toward me. There is no need to get angry with a young girl. At that, a wicked grin spread across your face. You whispered in her ear, you know, I have no interest in those little pointed ones. I only like them big, the kind one hand cannot hold. No doubt about it. I mean you. With that said, you grinned and reached out to measure them again. In an instant, too enormous, heavy breast, too large for both hands to cover, instantly flooded your senses. Your desire began to stir. You marveled to yourself. Are they about to undergo another super evolution? Terrifying. Hearing your wicked chuckle, when Shuran rolled her eyes at you, finally, she lightly slapped the hand clutching her fair breast, and coyly said, as long as you like them, honey. More than an hour later, Union Tiangong, Magic City. Bye-bye. Honey, remember to come to the banquet with me tonight. Inside a black Maybach, when Shuran lowered the window and sweetly waved to you after you got out. Got it. Don't worry. You nodded with a soft laugh. After Wen Shuran left, you turned to the aggrieved Wen Shuyao. You chuckled. What? Now you no fear. Did your sister have to scold you before you learned your lesson? When Shuyao gave a soft huff, pouting stubbornly, she retorted, HMPH. I'm not afraid of her. I just. Seeing her stubborn front, you smiled and patted her head. All right, don't keep arguing with your sister. Besides, you are grown up now. You are a college student, too. You have a wonderful college life ahead. During that time, you will meet all kinds of boys. So, do not keep bringing up your brother-in-law all the time. Otherwise, over time, boys who might have liked you will misunderstand. You gently stroked her head, earnestly trying to guide her. In your heart, Wen Shuyao was like a little sister to you. Even setting aside that she was your sister-in-law, she was a girl you had once protected. From the bottom of your heart, you hoped this innocent, lovely girl could remain happy forever. But after hearing your advice, Wen Shuyao's eyes suddenly reddened. Tears instantly welled in them. Brother-in-law, you don't want me anymore. Sob. Back then, you led us from place to place, hiding from danger. And even when you faced those robbers alone at the end, you never scolded me. But now now. Can you really bear to abandon me? Hearing Wen Shuyao's tearful complaint, you could not help rolling your eyes. With your hands in your pockets, you stared at her strangely. Stop. Stop. I give up. If you keep talking like that, I will start thinking I am some heartless jerk who used you and dumped you. As he spoke, you tapped her head in exasperation. You continued, am I speaking gibberish? Why do you look like you do not understand a word? Wen Shuyao covered her tapped forehead. Then she instantly laughed through her tears. She pouted. I do not care. I am sticking with you no matter what. I do not want all kinds of boys. Those male classmates my age are all just little kids to me. I only want a man who makes me feel safe like you. Brother-in-law. With that, she put her hands on her hips, certain she had you wrapped around her finger. Brother-in-law, if you dare abandon me, I will go around telling everyone that you are a scumbag. Believe me or not, everyone will believe me. After all, what adorable little girl like me would joke about something like that? You tapped her head again. You laughed. Tell me, how the hell am I a scumbag? My reputation out there has always been that of an honest, dependable gentleman. All right. As you spoke, after tapping her head, you could not resist pinching her pretty cheek. Wen Shuyao pouted, struggling free from your large hand. She said indignantly, I do not care. If you dare abandon me, I will absolutely do it. Do not even dream of getting rid of me in this lifetime. You shook your head with a wry smile. With a helpless sigh, you said, fine. Have it your way. It is updated. It is updated. Qinghe's new book has been updated. After the two returned to campus, you arrived at your dorm room. The moment you walked in, you saw the three men whom countless girls on campus called the second, third, and fourth campus Heartthrobs. They were frantically preparing something, busy as could be. Seeing this, you asked in confusion, hey, what are you doing? Packing to flee a famine? At the sound of your voice, the three busy roommates instantly turned around. Song Qinghe, known as the second campus Heartthrob, rushed over and grabbed your arm. He hurriedly said, bro, you are finally here. Come on. We have been waiting for you. As Song Jingheng pulled you over, he seated you on a stool in the center of the room. The two men known as the third and fourth campus Heartthrobs, Huan, and the usually aloof Xingci, immediately gathered around you two. Looking at your three roommates around you, you felt deeply confused. But before anyone could speak, you seemed to suddenly remember something. You crossed your arms over your chest. In a weak voice, tinged with grievance, you murmured, Brother G, no, I am not into guys. As those words fell, the faces of the other three immediately darkened. Song Jingheng laughed and cursed. What are you thinking? Would a dorm full of campus Heartthrobs really be that desperate? Enough. Brother Yan, stop messing around. This is serious. What is going on? Did something happen? Xingci glanced at his roommates. After taking a deep breath, he said softly, I have a problem. I need you three to help me out. You frowned slightly and instinctively asked, huh? Is it about your grandmother's hospital bills? Xingci shook his head. His lips parted slightly, and he looked at you with complicated eyes. It seemed that what came next was difficult for him to say. At that moment, Song Jingheng seemed to sense Xingci's discomfort. He spoke first to explain, Brother Yan, you know about Jianshan's relationship with Song Qinghe. The source of this trouble is her. You frowned again. You looked at Song Jingheng in confusion. Everyone in the college knew about Xingci and Song Qinghe's relationship. He was seen as Song Qinghe's lackey, an admirer, even a pathetic lapdog. That was the firm impression held by everyone in the college who did not know the truth. But for the four of you, who had shared a dorm for years, you knew it was merely a deal between a wealthy heiress and a poor boy, nothing more than a transactional game. What was Jianshan's deal with that old bastard from the Song family? Not going smoothly all along. What is it? Is the contract about to end, and Jianshan suddenly fell for that heiress? Or did that old bastard pull some new stunt? As you finished speaking, you looked at him with utter confusion. Seeing the strange look in your eyes, Xingci looked rather awkward. He looked like he had something he could not bring himself to say. Seeing that, your eyes widened. You hurriedly stood up, patting Xingci on the shoulder. You earnestly advised him, kid, that woman is way out of your depth. You cannot handle her. Trust me. Forget her. In a few days, I will introduce you to someone better. Seeing that you had completely misunderstood him, Xingci gave a wry smile and waved his hand. He hurriedly explained, Brother Yan, you have it wrong. It is not what you think. But before he could finish, Song Jingheng beside him saw how nervous and tongue-tied he was and could not help sighing. Forget it, Jianshan. I will explain for you. But you need to work on the stutter you get when nervous. You should pay attention to it. The sooner you overcome it, the better. Song Jingheng turned back to you and continued, Brother Yan, that bitch, Song Qinghe, has made a ridiculously melodramatic demand of Jianshan this time. That is why Jianshan was too embarrassed to tell you. You nodded, signaling him to continue. How should I put it? You know about the agreement Jianshan signed with that old bastard from the Song family. There is a clause in it. Jianshan must unconditionally, and to the best of his ability, fulfill every request. Song Qinghe makes over for years. You nodded again. There was not a trace of surprise on your face. As for that agreement, you knew most of its details. I know. It is no big deal. Making money is nothing to be ashamed of. Seeing you nod, Song Jingheng took a helpless deep breath. He continued, but this time, that woman's demand. Is that at 6 this evening? Jianshan must go to the college field and confess his love to her in front of everyone. She specifically said he must bring the 3 of us too. When Song Jingheng finished, the dorm room fell into a brief silence. Xingci looked at the 3 of you apologetically. The embarrassment on his face was obvious. Song Jingheng went on. Yanci and I talked it over. We have agreed. But brother Yan, what about you? Looking at your 3 roommates staring intently at you, you smiled and nodded. Sure, we are only there to support him. Using the title of the for campus Heartthrobs to give that woman a huge public spotlight. I do not mind. Just call me when you are ready. When he saw that you had agreed to, Xingci let out a huge breath of relief. But just as he was about to thank you, your voice suddenly rang out again. By the way, Jianshan, after Song Qinghe made this request, did you tell that old bastard and her family? At your question, Xingci shook his head in confusion. This was already covered by the agreement. Would telling him do any good? You raised a hand to your forehead. Exasperated, you said, are you stupid? With such a rare opportunity, how could you not squeeze that old bastard for all he is worth? Sure. Your contract says that you must unconditionally meet that woman's demands, but that clause only applies to you. Now his daughter wants to use people outside the agreement. How can he get away without paying up? Before Xingci could respond, Song Jingheng's eyes suddenly lit up. He said, Brother Yan, you mean you waved the hand, cutting him off? No need to guess. Jianshan, call that old bastard right now. Describe his daughter's demand to him in detail. As for how you phrase it, that is up to you. The key point is simple, pay us more. After saying that, you patted his shoulder again. You chuckled. Honestly, whether they pay extra does not matter to us. We do not mind letting our own people freeload off us once or twice. We have no problem with that. But if outsiders want something for free, not a chance. At that moment, Xingci instantly understood what you meant. He nodded, picked up his phone, and made the call. A moment later, the cigarette in your hand had nearly burned down. After Xingci hung up, he suddenly cried out excitedly, Brother Yan, it worked. Song Qinghe's dad is willing to pay 500,000 yuan for our trouble. Before he could finish, his phone suddenly vibrated. The next second, he cried out again, Brother Yan, the money is already in my account. He immediately looked up. His blazing gaze swept over the 3 of you. He could barely contain his excitement. Brother Yan, Brother Yanci, my online banking has a transfer limit. Let us go to the bank and transfer it now. We can split it properly between us. Seeing how excited he was, the 3 of you exchanged looks. Smiles appeared at the corners of all your mouths. No rush. Let us get this done first. Just then, you suddenly seemed to remember something. You checked the time, then looked at them, and the props they had mostly prepared earlier. Then you turned to Xingci. By the way, Jianshan, what exactly did Song Qinghe say? She only wanted us to stand behind you, like groomsmen, serving as background for you to write. Your question caught Xingci slightly off guard. Song Jingheng and Zhang Zhuan, beside you, at almost the same moment, also looked confused. Seeing this, you chuckled. What I mean is, Song Qinghe is not planning to have all 4 of us confess to her one by one, is she? Let me be clear first. I do not mind saying a few meaningless lines. That is fine by me. But when it is my turn to speak, she had better not say yes on the spot without a second thought. She is not my type. You 3 can work out who gets her. Just do not stick me with her. After saying that, your gaze remained calm as you looked at Xingci without the slightest guilt. You were not being narcissistic. Over the years, that face of yours had brought you countless romantic prospects and love-struck girls. Before the other two could speak, Zhang Zhuan objected, sounding unconvinced. Brother Yan, you are way too full of yourself. To some younger girls, we are even better looking than you, okay? You glanced at your phone and reminded them, all right, let us go. It is about time. The 4 of you took the prepared props and headed for the field. Along the way, many passing younger girls looked at you shyly. When they saw all the props in your hands, their interest grew even stronger. Quite a few younger students even followed behind you eagerly, hoping for gossip. It was as if they intended to follow you and witness a spectacular confession. A little later, when you reached the field, more than 10 minutes had passed. There was little time left before Song Qinghe finished her final class of the day. Fortunately, all the props had long been prepared. A few minutes of arranging would create the perfect setup. A few minutes later, Xingci stood at the center of a heart surrounded by white roses. He held a huge bouquet of red roses. His face was full of nerves and anticipation. Meanwhile, the 3 of you stood outside the heart behind him, serving as backdrop. By then, more and more younger male students and female students had gathered around the field. As they watched the 4 of you in the middle, chatter and shrieks instantly filled the air. As the for-campus Heartthrobs recognized by every girl on campus, you 4 were already the hottest topic among the girls. And this time, all four of you had appeared together, with Xingci preparing to confess, and bringing you along as his supporting cast. It was like dropping a boulder into a still lake, instantly stirring up a storm. Looking at the field, packed solid with people, 3 lines of exasperation creased your forehead. You nudged Song Jingheng and Zhang Zhuan beside you, and muttered, "I did not think this through. Having a crowd stare at us like zoo animals is fucking humiliating." Hearing your complaint, Song Jingheng seemed rather used to it. He shrugged and chuckled. "This is nothing. Stay calm." The moment Song Jingheng finished speaking, Zhang Zhuan immediately spoke up as well. "Over the years, those heated, jealous stares have stopped affecting me. You get used to them." At that moment, you glanced over the two of them. You looked them over, suddenly bored by their calm expressions, but seeing you talk as though no one else existed. The younger girls around you seemed to be somehow provoked, and suddenly began screaming. You secretly shook your head and sighed helplessly. As for the younger girl's excited reaction, you could more or less guess the reason. Over the years, Song Jingheng and Zhang Zhuan had often participated in all kinds of events. They were practically masters of singing, dancing, and rap, basketball, and every kind of art. Combined with their handsome faces, they had each built up a sizable following, both on and off campus. As for you, you were even more popular online than they were. But since you hated showing your face, apart from those close to you, almost no one knew. You were the original creator with tens of millions of followers. Time passed quickly. The group did not have to wait long. Song Qinghe soon appeared, accompanied by 2 girls, slowly making her way toward the field. The moment she entered everyone's sight, the younger students gathered around the field seemed to share the same thought, parting in perfect unison to make a path for her. Most students knew perfectly well about the relationship between Song Qinghe and Xingci. Naturally, they also knew she was the leading lady in today's grand confession. Song Qinghe seemed to have prepared herself for today as well. She wore a dress as white as snow. Her pale golden hair, lit by the fading sunset, glowed with soft warmth. It seemed to drape her entire body in a veil of gold, making her seem like a princess stepping out of a fairy tale. No one could help but be captivated. Faced with the scene before her, her lovely face revealed little emotion. With light steps, she walked unhurriedly toward the center of the field. She appeared calm as still water, yet anyone watching closely would notice that beneath her seemingly calm exterior, she concealed an inexplicable emotion, as though she were waiting for something. Well, would you look at that? Judging by her looks alone, that woman is genuinely pretty. You nudged Song Jingheng beside you again, and teased with a chuckle. Well, if that melodramatic scenario I mentioned earlier really happens, why do you two not decide which of you will make a move and win her over? Hearing your teasing, Song Jingheng and Zhang Zhuan exchanged a knowing glance at you. But before they could respond, your voice rang out again. Do not rush to argue. I am not wrong. She may be a little spoiled and a little arrogant, but at least she is good looking, and she is loaded. Marrying her would be the deal of a lifetime, okay? Song Jingheng curled his lip. He muttered, "Enough. Stop fantasizing." As Song Qinghe drew closer, the atmosphere on the field finally reached its peak. In an instant, Xingci held the flowers and took a gentle step towards Song Qinghe. "Yuking, it has been for years. From the first day we entered this campus, from the first moment I saw you, I have loved you quietly all this time. Today, I want to officially confess to you. I hope you will say yes and fulfill the wish I have carried for years." After Xingci spoke with deep feeling, he knelt on one knee and offered the flowers to Song Qinghe. Song Qinghe looked at Xingci. A flicker of complicated emotion crossed her eyes. Song Qinghe knew nothing about the deal between Xingci and her father. She was completely unaware. All along, her father had protected her well. Regarding the pursuit of Xingci, the campus heartthrob, she simply believed he had fallen in love with her at first sight. As Xingci held the flowers on one knee, and Song Qinghe wore a conflicted expression. From the freshman classroom building, 2 girls brimming with youthful energy jogged toward the field with curious interest. "Shuyao, it looks like an upperclassman is confessing up ahead. Come on, let us go take a look too." When Shuyao nodded brightly, her instinct for juicy drama instantly took over. When they finally squeezed to the edge of the crowd, they happened to hear Xingci's heartfelt confession. Beside Wen Shuyao, her friend's eyes suddenly lit up. She turned excitedly to her friend, Shuyao. Look, the for campus heartthrobs from senior year. Wow, this is so romantic." The girl beside Wen Shuyao watched the men on the field with stars in her eyes. Her excitement was impossible to hide. Senior Xingci really went all out. It would be one thing if senior Song Jingheng and senior Zhang Zhuan were there, but even senior Shen Yanci, who rarely appears, was invited to serve as background. That is incredible. Despite her friend's amazement, Wen Shuyao did not respond at all. She looked at you on the field in confusion and murmured, "Brother-in-law, did you not say you had something to do today? Why are you suddenly here as someone's backdrop?" At the same time, Xingci, on the field, had been kneeling for 2 or 3 minutes. Yet Song Qinghe, standing before him, did nothing but let her gaze grow more complicated. She gave no response at all. In that brief silence, Time itself seemed frozen. The surrounding crowd began whispering. Their low voices spread like ripples through the air. But amid that tense atmosphere, Song Qinghe, who had been looking down at Xingci, suddenly raised her head. Her gaze flashed like lightning, shooting straight past Xingci and landing on the three of you behind him. The three of you tensed at once. A sense of foreboding surged through you. You looked at one another, exchanging terrified glances. In your minds, your earlier warnings surfaced at the same time. Damn, she really is coming for me. At that moment, Xingci, still on one knee, seemed to sense something too. He looked up, his gaze settling on Song Qinghe's delicate face. When he saw that, her gaze was truly fixed on his three roommates. He knew your prediction had come true. Money is hard to earn, and this kind of crap is hard to swallow. Seeing this, the three of you smiled bitterly to yourselves. After sighing inwardly, you moved behind them as one. Once beside Xingci, Song Jingheng reached out and helped him up. Then he turned to Song Qinghe and said softly, Miss Song, Jianshan's feelings for you. We have all seen them as his friends. It has been for years. Have you truly never felt even a flicker for him? As Song Jingheng finished speaking, not only the four of you, but also the younger students watching nearby, looked on with curiosity. Everyone present seemed to be waiting for her final explanation. Song Qinghe turned to look at Xingci. Her usual spoiled, haughty demeanor faded away at last. She looked at Xingci apologetically. Her voice trembled slightly, yet every word reached everyone's ears clearly. Xingci, I am sorry. All these years, thank you for loving me all these years. I admit that what I told you before was a lie. Before she could finish, the crowd erupted. A wave of shocked cries rang out. The younger students began whispering among themselves again, speaking in hushed voices. Speculation and chatter rose one after another. Yet amid the uproar around her, Song Qinghe paid it no mind. At that moment, she seemed to have truly made up her mind. At that moment, she wanted to confess her feelings to the man she had longed for. The urge in her heart had reached its peak. I am sorry. You are a good man, but the one I truly like is. Just as Song Qinghe was about to pour out her heart in one breath and reveal whom she loved, Song Jingheng and the other two once again caught Xingci's signal in his eyes. He gave a subtle shake of his head. Song Jingheng gritted his teeth. He put on a cheerful, relieved smile. He stepped forward towards Song Qinghe, who was confessing without reserve, and smiled gently. He interrupted, Yuking, to be honest, when I heard you say you do not like Jianshan, I felt an instant weight lift from my heart. Do you know why? It is not just Jianshan. I, Song Jingheng, have liked you for a long time too. Now it is settled. Since you truly rejected Jianshan, I believe I have the right to pursue you as well. Here on this field today, I, Song Jingheng, formally confess to you. Song Jingheng likes you. Song Qinghe. You stared blankly at the excited Song Jingheng, cursing him furiously in your mind. This bastard can really act. Xingci was the first to recover. He quickly cleared his throat, then frantically signaled to you and Zhang Zhuan. Zhang Zhuan, at the side, seemed to realize there was no avoiding this today. A smile immediately appeared on his face. He said softly to Song Qinghe, Yuking, now that you and Jianshan have spoken openly, and Brother Heng has openly declared his feelings for you, then, in that case, I do not want to hide my feelings any longer. That is right, Yuking. I, Zhang Zhuan, like you too, though I may have fallen for you a little later than they did. Believe me, my love for you is no less than theirs. As he spoke, Zhang Zhuan looked at her with adoring eyes. Like Song Jingheng, he stepped forward too, standing alongside Song Jingheng. By then, Song Qinghe seemed to finally emerge from her overwhelming disbelief and come to her senses. She stared at Song Jingheng and the others in shock. Trembling faintly in disbelief, she said, Are you joking? Because I rejected Xingci. Are you trying to get revenge for him this way? Song Jingheng and Zhang Zhuan shook their heads in unison. They answered with smiles, Yuking, you are overthinking it. Jianshan is our brother, and we value our bond with him deeply. But friendship is friendship, and love is love. Our pursuit of you only began after you clearly rejected Jianshan. That does not conflict with our brotherhood at all. As for your claim that we are doing this just to avenge Jianshan, that is absolutely impossible. As I said before, we fear hurting friendship over love. The reverse is true as well. We would never hurt love for the sake of friendship. So your worries are unnecessary. As Song Jingheng finished, many younger women nearby looked at him with admiration in their eyes. Soft murmurs of discussion rose again. Senior Song Jingheng is so handsome. Yes. Even when it comes to love and friendship, he explains everything so logically. At that moment, Zhang Zhuan noticed that you had not spoken for a long while. As if afraid you would back out, he quickly continued to Song Qinghe, Yuking, it is not just the three of us who like you. Brother Yan has strong feelings for you too. He is only 2 years older than us, so he does not want to compete with us younger guys. As his roommates, to be honest, we have heard him call your name in his sleep plenty of times. Calling your name. After saying that, he turned to you, wearing a broad smile. Right, Brother Yan? Song Jingheng turned and patted your shoulder too. He smiled and said, Exactly. Brother Yan likes you. That is that. We may be brothers, but you do not need to worry, it will affect our bond. After all, feelings cannot be forced in the end. You looked at your two smiling roommates and cursed them viciously in your heart. These two assholes. Do they have to drag me into this too? When have I ever talked in my sleep and called that woman's name in a dream? I am the best looking man for miles around. Since when did I need to try this hard? As the two finished speaking, everyone around them, including Song Qinghe, turned toward you with shining eyes. Is it April Fool's Day? The for campus heartthrobs are all confessing to one girl. This is insane. It is unbelievable. Senior Song is certainly beautiful, and she is the heiress of a wealthy family. But it would be one thing if Senior Jianshan liked her. The other three seniors have no reason to secretly pine after her, do they? Exactly. I heard Senior Song and Senior Zhang are both from wealthy families. Even Senior Shen must be doing well financially, right? Definitely. Senior Shen could already afford a Mercedes before graduating. How badly off could he possibly be? This is terrifying. Have they lost their minds? Is Senior Song really that irresistible? She has made all for campus heartthrobs fall for her. As the girls marveled at this, Wen Shuyao openly curled her lip. My brother-in-law must have too much free time lately. Maybe I should talk to my sister tonight and have him get a job at the company. The girl beside Wen Shuyao asked her excitedly. Shuyao, tell me, does Senior Shen Yanci really like Senior Song too? Wen Shuyao curled her lip again. After letting out a scornful laugh, she replied dismissively. Those two blonde punks are talking nonsense. My brother-in-law has not stayed in the dorm for nearly 2 years. How could they have heard him talk in his sleep? But when the girl heard Wen Shuyao mention her brother-in-law, she quickly covered her mouth in shock, as though she had just heard an unbelievable secret. Shuyao, your brother-in-law cannot be Senior Shen Yanci. Can he? Could he be the husband Sister Shuran never brings around? The one she secretly married? Wen Shuyao nodded calmly. A moment later, she suddenly remembered something. She hurriedly corrected her. My sister and brother-in-law are not secretly married. They just have not held their wedding yet. And it is not that my sister refuses to bring him out. It is just that my brother-in-law simply does not like the atmosphere at formal events. Seeing that, Wen Shuyao wanted to say more. The girl beside her quickly tugged at Wen Shuyao's delicate hand. She said excitedly, Shuyao, look, Senior Shen Yanci is about to respond. Wen Shuyao frowned slightly at that. She turned to look. Everyone on the field was watching you. Even Song Qinghe, the one being confessed to, had an inexplicable glimmer in her eyes. You glanced at Xingci before you from the corner of your eye. Seeing the pleading look in his eyes, you sighed helplessly inside. The next moment, you stepped forward with Song Jingheng and Zhang Juan. Meeting Song Qinghe's strange gaze, you gave a slight nod. That is right. When she saw you nod. Before you could finish speaking, Song Qinghe immediately took your hand. Then she eagerly cut off your next words. You do not need to say any more. I am willing. As Song Qinghe's eager acceptance rang out, the surrounding crowd instantly erupted in loud gasps. Song Jingheng, Zhang Juan, I do not know whether what you just said about liking me was true or false, true or not. It does not matter to me now. From now on, including Xingci, given your friendship with Brother Yan, you do not need to call me by my name anymore. Just call me sister-in-law. And from now on, you must put away every inappropriate thought about me. That is all. As she finished speaking, Song Qinghe turned around, ready to pull you away from there by the hand. But you were still caught up in Song Qinghe's utterly decisive choice. Your mouth twitched. That ominous feeling from earlier flashed through your mind. Damn it. This really was aimed at me. Those bastards. Could they have taken that woman's money to set me up like this? At that thought, your gaze turned cold. You shot Song Jingheng and the other to a fierce glare. At the clear threat in your eyes, Song Jingheng and Zhang Juan caught on. They instantly broke into carefree smiles. They stepped forward and patted your shoulder. With light laughter, they said, Congratulations. Brother Yan, your long-held dream has finally come true. Yes, Brother Yan, do not worry. We agreed, sister-in-law. Whoever you chose would not affect our relationship. As he spoke, Zhang Juan slung an arm around your shoulders. He continued enviously, I am so jealous of you. Sister-in-law is the Song family's heiress. Being with her, you have struck gold overnight. You have made out like a bandit. Hearing their teasing, your mouth twitched again. You forcibly held back the urge to beat them to death. Song Jingheng turned around. Smiling broadly, he assured Song Qinghe, sister-in-law, rest assured, since you have made your choice, from now on, we will put aside every thought we should not have. You will only be our sister-in-law. Then he turned to Xingci. He continued, Xingci, is that right? When Song Jingheng mentioned him, Xingci nodded. At once, he gave you an apologetic look. Song Qinghe nodded deeply. Then she took you by the hand to leave. Come on, Brother Yan. Too many people are watching here. Let us find somewhere quieter. You nodded helplessly. This field really was packed with far too many gawkers. There were indeed some things that could not be said here. As they left, the crowd around the field gradually dispersed as well. When Shuyao watched you and Song Qinghe leave, the fury in her eyes was unmistakable. She grabbed her best friend's arm and hurried after the two of you. Walking along, She gritted her teeth and fumed. That wretched woman. How dare she so openly seduce my man? Unforgivable. The girl she was dragging covered her mouth in shock again. She said incredulously, "Your man? What did I just hear? Shuyao, do you want to steal a man from Sister Shuran too? A younger sister-in-law pining for her own brother-in-law. This is far too messed up." Seeing her best friend's shocked expression, Wen Shuyao finally realized that, in her fury, she had accidentally blurted out everything on her mind. However, perhaps because she was truly close to the girl beside her, she did not make up excuses. Instead, she admitted it outright. "My sister has long known that I like Brother Yan. Besides, we are family. There is no question of stealing him. I already told my sister. She is the first wife, and I am the second. So, whenever my sister is not around, Brother Yan is my man." As she spoke, Wen Shuyao grabbed her best friend's arm. Fuming, she followed after them. "Come on. Let's go catch that fourth mistress." Meanwhile, after Song Qinghe pulled you off the field, she quickly opened the door of a luxury car parked by the road and got inside. Once inside the car, within the cramped space, a delicate tension immediately filled the air. Song Qinghe leaned against her seat. The confidence in her eyes earlier was gone. Her earlier pride had melted away, replaced by a touch of shyness. You looked at her faintly flushed profile, unable to hide your surprise. Had Yi Xingci and those assholes not said that this woman was a living, breathing tigress? Spoiled, arrogant, and impossible to deal with. They had practically pinned every insult they could think of on her. But now that you saw her, she did not seem nearly as terrible as they claimed. Back in your sophomore year, you and Wen Shuran were already in a rather ambiguous relationship. Then, in the second half of that year, an unexpected turn of events made you a couple. So, when it came to the women in your year, those goddess-like heiresses, you had not paid much attention to them, and most of what you knew about Song Qinghe was still limited to the descriptions Yi Xingci and the others had given you. But now, it seemed, this tigress was somewhat different from what they had described. Sensing the awkwardness in the air, you cleared your throat. You broke the silence first. Miss Song, there may be some misunderstanding between us." Before you could finish, Song Qinghe suddenly interrupted. "Brother Yan, the legend, do you really not recognize me?" Meeting her gaze, you instinctively frowned. "What do you mean? Over the past 4 years, we have barely had any contact, have we?" Hearing your response, and seeing the confusion in your eyes, Song Qinghe sighed softly. Her emotions grew more complicated. Looking at this face, "Do you really not remember me at all, Brother Yan, the legend? Have you really forgotten me?" Your face darkened. There she goes again. These women, why do they love making people guess riddles? You waved a hand. Then you replied irritably. "Speak plainly. You are an adult. I have no time for silly guessing games." Song Qinghe quickly dropped her delicate act. She answered directly. "Brother Yan, the legend. It is me. I am Yuqing. 8 years ago, in the Qinli Mountains, you saved my grandfather and me. A moment later, in your mind, the image of a little girl and an old man suddenly flashed by. Back then, because of a cultivation art from your past life memories, you secretly left your adoptive parents at 14. You wandered through dangerous places around the world, having practiced sword arts from your past life since childhood. You did not fear such dangerous places. You saw them as chances to temper yourself. Besides, you felt you had finally escaped the world of your past life, which had left you feeling suffocated every moment. And what man does not dream of roaming the world with a sword? You had dreamed of wandering the land with a sword, to see the splendor of the world. So, when that carefree melody echoed in your mind, you resolutely made the world your home. You lived that way for 5 or 6 years. And 8 years ago, in the Qinli Mountains, you truly had saved a little girl and an old man. So it was you. But it has been so long. How did you still recognize me?" You asked curiously. Song Qinghe pressed her lips together. She said softly, "Brother Yan, the legend. After you saved my grandfather and me, I have never forgotten your face." Her gaze was gentle yet resolute, as if it could pierce the mist of time and see that brave young man from long ago. "All these years, I have been searching for you. I just had no way to contact you. And 8 years have passed. You really have changed a great deal. I only confirmed it was truly you recently." Remembering that time, Song Qinghe was filled with regret and self-reproach. Because of her recklessness, she had not only endangered herself, but become separated from her grandfather and family guards. Yet just as she fell into despair, you descended like a god, diving down from the sky. The blade in your hand gleamed coldly. You instantly slew the black bear. You saved her from death's brink. At the thought of this, Song Qinghe's eyes held endless gratitude and longing. She gazed at you, as though time had stopped in that moment. Your figure seemed ever more heroic in her eyes. Your every movement, every word, was deeply etched into her heart. After you saw us off that year, you left me with the name, Brother Yan, the legend. All these years, I have remembered it. Song Qinghe's voice trembled. Tears shimmered in her eyes. It has been 8 years. I searched for you 8 whole years. Seeing Song Qinghe so emotional, you awkwardly rubbed your nose. During those 5 or 6 years of wandering, whenever you happened to save someone, you would perfunctorily say, "Do not thank me. My name is Lei Feng." Then you would walk away without a backward glance. If the person you saved was a woman, even if she looked a few years older than you insisted they call you Brother Yan, the legend. Older ladies were excluded, of course. Looking back, it was rather embarrassing. You were not trying to show off, nor was this some humble brag. During those years of wandering, if you really counted, the men and women you had saved could nearly form a reinforced platoon. If you truly cared about repayment, then after saving them, you should have taken them directly home and made them pay you. Back then, you simply felt that you had finally escaped the spiritually barren world of your past life. In your mind, you possessed countless techniques from your past life's Taoist temple. Your adoptive parents in this life were also very wealthy. You did not lack money, so there was no need to fuss over trivial matters. Brother Yan, the legend. What did I do wrong? Did I make you hate me? Her question caught you off guard. You froze for a moment, then waved a hand. No. Why would you ask that? Before you really got to know Song Qinghe, your impression of her had indeed been poor. But that was only because those bastards in your dorm had influenced you. You had judged her before knowing her. After all, what man would like a spoiled heiress? But after truly meeting her, honestly, your impression of her was quite good. Not to mention, she was one of the people you had saved. If I did nothing wrong, and you do not hate me, Brother Yan, then why do you always act like you want to push me away? Back on the field, did we not get together in front of everyone? Why? As she spoke, Song Qinghe pouted her red lips, her eyes rimmed with tears. She looked exactly like a woman being dumped by a scumbag. Seeing this, you closed your eyes. You could not help complaining inwardly. Damn it. This woman. Why does she speak just like my so-called little sister-in-law? Always talking in that sugary, cutesy voice. She really knows how to cling to someone. At that moment, you took a deep breath, then opened your eyes. You said calmly, "I do not dislike you, but for now, between us, there is nothing between us for me to push you away from. As for what happened on the field, I can explain it to you. More importantly, I am already married. We cannot be together." After saying that, you looked at her calmly. In your view, you had made yourself perfectly clear, and you truly were married. The two of you did not need to argue over that joking confession any further. To you, today's confession on the field had only been a joke. You had merely wanted to help a friend. You never expected your earlier bad prediction to come true. I know you are married, Brother Yan, and I also know you are Sister Shuran's secret husband. Do not worry, Brother Yan. I do not mind. In our circle, capable men and women, having several partners is perfectly normal. For one thing, my father has 3 wives. Even Sister Shuran's father, your father-in-law, married his former sister-in-law as his second wife. Did he not? Hearing Song Qinghe's words and seeing her utterly composed, lovely face, a hint of surprise entered your eyes. Song Qinghe, knowing these private affairs of the Wen family, did not surprise you in the least. Given Song Qinghe's status and background, it was not difficult for her to learn such things. What truly surprised you was that Song Qinghe was entirely unlike Mother Wen and her sisters, or the several young Steve mothers in her own family. She was entirely different from all of them. Song Qinghe was born to the Song family's principal wife of this generation. She was their legitimate eldest daughter, through and through, and the Song family's standing was entirely different from those she mentioned. As one of Shanghai's greatest families, the Song family's power and influence could not be underestimated. Compared with the Wen family, they were a giant force on the same level. As the Song family's eldest daughter, Song Qinghe had no reason to repay one life-saving favor by marrying down to a married man like you. Could this woman have another hidden motive, or did she want something from you? But aside from when you saved her, when you displayed some of your abilities, you had not had any contact with her over the years, and throughout your years at school, you had never displayed any footwork techniques. Now, aside from your face, the only thing worth coveting was the Wen family behind you, but you were not involved in running the Wen group. It made no sense. Your brow furrowed unconsciously. The way you looked at her carried an inscrutable edge, just as you were about to casually find an excuse to refuse her. Song Qinghe seemed to sense something. She spoke first. Brother Yan, do not worry. I have absolutely no ill intentions toward you, nor do I covet anything from you. The Wen and Song families have been friends for generations. Sister Shuran and I are practically like sisters. So, you do not need to worry that I have ulterior motives. I just like you. I simply want to be with you. Hearing her explanation, you became even more surprised. A thought crossed your mind, and you asked in confusion, "No. What exactly do you want? There are no interests tying us together. Yet you want me? You are the Song family's eldest daughter, and you want a married man like me. Is it because I am older than you, or because I do not bathe?" As for polygamy or polyandry, you had no particular opinion on either. In your view, if something existed, It had its reasons. That great figure who reigned supreme in your past life had openly married several